Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today for Encore Business Solutions presentation on Office 365, More Than Word. I'm Tracy Santos, and I'm going to be walking us through Office 365 today. So the objective of today's session is to give you a bit of background about Office 365 and the components of that, and I'll be doing a demo as well. There's a lot of content, and in the demo side of it, I probably could demo one area of Office for the whole day. It's super exciting, and there's lots of great functionality available to you with Office 365. So a little bit about the history of Office. If we can remember back when Office first came out in Word, this is how old I am. I used actually Wang for word processing, if anyone remembers Wang. But Word came about. Word and Excel, those are tools that we use all the time. But there's a little bit of history there about the evolution of Word and Office up to today, to Office 365. So if you remember that paperclip, that talking paperclip from way back in the day. So what is Office 365? It is a cloud-friendly application. So it's a web-based computing services that are hosted outside of your organization. When you use cloud-based services, your IT infrastructure resides off your property or off-premise, and it's maintained by a third party hosted, instead of residing on a server at your home or business or on-premise that you have to maintain. With Office 365, for example, information storage, computation, and software are located and managed remotely on servers owned by Microsoft. Many services you use every day are a part of that cloud, everything from web-based email to mobile banking and online photo storage. Because of this infrastructure is located online or in the cloud, you can access it virtually anywhere from a PC, tablet, smartphone, or other device with an internet connection. Office 365 refers to a subscription plan that includes access to Office applications that you're super familiar with, like Word and Excel, plus other productivity services that are enabled over the internet or cloud services. Office 365 includes plans for use at home and for business. Office 365 plans for business include such services as Skype for Business, for web conferencing, and Exchange Online, or hosted email for business, and additional online storage with OneDrive for business. Many Office 365 plans also include the desktop version of the latest Office applications, which users can install across multiple computers and devices. The fully installed applications include Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, Outlook, Publisher, and Access. And you can install them across multiple devices, including PCs, Macs, Android tablets, Android phones, iPad, and iPhone. When you have an active Office 365 subscription that includes your desktop version of Office, you always have the most up-to-date version of the applications. The Office 365 plans that are online only are a great choice for certain business needs, and they are designed to work with the latest version of Office. So again, there's lots of flexibility and choice in how you want to deploy Office 365. It doesn't mean that you have to be cloud only. So there are choices. Office 365 Business and Pro Plus subscribers can install Office up to 5 PCs or Macs, 5 tablets, and 5 smartphones. You can count hybrid Windows devices such as the Microsoft Surface Pro as either a PC or a tablet. Internet access is required to install and activate all Office 365 plans and to manage your subscription account. Internet connectivity is also required to access Office 365 cloud productivity services, including email conferencing, IT management, and other services. But you also have the desktop version, and you can work offline so that when you are back online, it will update that information. So that's one of the benefits of having the desktop version of Office applications, is that you can work offline and have the confidence that the next time you connect to the internet, all your work will automatically sync. So you never have to worry about your documents being up to date. Your desktop version of Office is also automatically kept up to date and upgraded when you connect to the internet. So you always have the latest tools to help you work. So to put things in perspective, when we look at the many, many benefits of Office 365, I like to think back of in the early days when, and probably a lot of you are too young to remember this, if I had a copy of a movie on beta and Tiffany had one in VHS and Ashley had one on, I forget what those big large discs were, that we had these disc players, this is way before DVDs, we couldn't share that information, or they couldn't share that movie. Or when we think about movies today, you know, then we were renting a VHS and we were renting DVDs. And now what happens today when we want to watch a movie, we stream it. So it's all available in the cloud and allows us to share that information or those movies. So again, I don't have to worry about what version or what my infrastructure, the application, what version it's on, because when Tiffany and I are collaborating on a document, we're always using the same tools, the same business solutions. So again, looking at it from that perspective is I don't have to worry about what version were you on and what version am I on. So Office 365 eliminates the need for that and takes a lot of pressure off of the IT department as well. So when we look at Office 365, what does it come with? Well, again, the tools that we use every day, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Outlook. So again, your email available all the time online. Access it from anywhere in the world. And there's some new tools, Flow, Planner, Sway, Yammer, Power BI. A couple of weeks ago, we did a webinar on Power BI. So if you'd like to see a little bit about that, you can check that out. As well, there's lots and lots of videos up on our blogs about Power BI. Today we're going to focus on some of these other tool sets that are part of Office 365 and kind of walk you through the value and how they'll benefit your organization. And at Encore, we actually have a team that's just dedicated to this portion of our business. So for those of you that know us from the traditional ERP world, we have a whole cloud service provider team that specializes in everything cloud. So whether it be Office 365 or Azure, we've got lots of great resources there. So I'm actually a user of Office 365, being an employee at Encore. We use Office 365, and certain aspects of it make me feel like I have my own personal assistant now, because I can, especially with Flow, being able to set up workflows that when an email comes in, that it can set off a workflow and help me plan my day out better and let me be a lot more productive. Let's go and have a look at Flow itself. So again, building out a workflow, and what's really interesting about it is the fact that it can connect to various applications. So when an email comes in, it can trigger off a next step and an action and be able to collaborate and get that workflow done and completed. So things don't kind of fall off your to-do list. You can have that workflow assist you. So for example, it could be a vacation request, or it could be sending me a reminder that I have to go and have a meeting with a certain client. So Flow, we're going to go through some examples of that today in our demo. The next area, one of the great apps in Office 365 is Planner. Allows us to work in a collaborative manner on a project or any type of task where we can work together, assign tasks, put dates on them, balance the workload, and we're going to go through that a little bit today when we look at how Planner works. And again, remember, it's connected to all the different other components of Office 365. Sway. I watched a really interesting video yesterday on Sway from the Garage team at Microsoft, and it was really interesting how they were able to kind of push the boundaries of Sway and what it allows you to do. So when we think about when we're creating PowerPoints, and in the old world where we would basically start with a blank canvas and work on that, and we would create themes or certain style sheets that belong to our business. Sway allows you to, it becomes much more intelligent, and it actually allows you to create this like mini website, but this canvas becomes a lot more collaborative. So it is a web canvas, and with assisted authoring. So for example, for collaborative, allowing people to contribute content to that, as well as creating content aggregation. So you're creating, publishing, and sharing. Information is changing all the time, so it creates this intelligent way of creating either could be a simple presentation. Maybe you are doing a PowerPoint presentation and you just want to leverage Sway to make it that more current and make the content important. So I was playing around with it. Some of you may know I've got a new puppy, and so I went and created, I was doing a Sway canvas about clicker training. And so when I typed in my topic, clicker training, it goes out to the internet and gathers all the things that are important about clicker training. So the history of clicker training provides you some topics and some visuals. And then from there, I was able to add my own visuals and my own content to create a PowerPoint about clicker training for dogs. So something really simple like that. And we're going to go through Sway today and show you how you can create that web canvas. Yammer. Yammer is a fantastic tool for an internal private social networking. So it is not Facebook. It is not Twitter or Instagram or Snapchat or anything like that, because it's not open up to the public. It's private. So for example, you may have a customer service group or certain segments of your customers you want to get feedback from. You can create a Yammer group that you can invite those customers to so that they can provide you in a private social network and be able to work together. So if they want to give you feedback about your products or your services, you can create that. You can also use it internally for your company. So for example, at Encore, we use it internally, and we have different groups, and we can participate. I better slow down. I'm stumbling over my words. We can participate in a collaborative way and share ideas, and it's great because there's a social aspect to it. So for example, we have a water cooler group where people post things up that are going on with them from a more out of work perspective, and because we are across North America with hundreds of employees, it's a great way to stay in contact with someone who is not in your specific geographic location. As well as for on the business side, you can share information out to groups of customers that is very specific for them in a private way. So Yammer is a big part of our deployment of Office 365, and I hope that you're able to leverage it and use it in your organization. And we'll be going through Yammer a little bit later on. Power BI. So simplified business intelligence experience. So for those of us that are super in love with Excel, a few years ago, Power BI has been out in the market for just over 2 years. Originally started with Power Query and Power Pivot, which were components of Excel or add-ons for Excel. Power BI is now a separate application and takes Power Pivot and Power Query, really, I hate to use that term, to the next level, but has created a much easier user experience when doing analytics and data visualization. And if you want to check out some of those visualizations we've done in some of our other webinars, please feel free. There's tons of content up on YouTube or on the Microsoft site for Power BI that allows you to connect to multiple data sources and look at information and make intelligent decisions based on that information that's presented to you. Okay, great. So we're going to go on to our Office 365 demo. And please, if you do have questions, you can type them into the chat and we will record them, and we have a Q&A session at the end of our presentation. So I'm just going to minimize this PowerPoint, and I'm going to go over to one of our screens. So I'm using a demo site that I set up for Office 365, and I'm Megan Bowen. So you'll see that I'm in Megan Bowen's Outlook in our inbox. I'm looking at information here. But first I'm going to take you over to my home. And again, it recognizes me. I've logged on, and once you've logged on, you're connected to all the different apps within Office 365. So we can see some of the ones that we've talked about already, Mail and OneDrive, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, SharePoint, Teams, which we're not going to go into today, but Teams very much leverages a variety of the different apps and allows you to work collaboratively on projects, which Planner is a component of that. Yammer, Dynamics 365, which is our Dynamics 365 for sales, and Dynamics 365 financials. We've got Flow, which is our first area we're going to be talking about today. We're not going to be talking about admin and security and compliance today, but that's a whole other topic in itself, how you're able to leverage and make sure that, for example, just quickly talk about it, is that when you have sensitive documents, that when people leave, that they wouldn't have access to those documents any longer. And also, if they did save them to their desktop and tried to reopen them later when they're not connected, they're not part of your Office 365 group, they wouldn't be able to. That interesting thing there. Planner we're going to talk about today. Power BI not today, but you can look at our previous webinar on that. We're going to look at Sway as well today. So lots of great components or apps that are comprise Office 365, not just the traditional ones that we think of. So the first thing we're going to look at is automating workflows with Microsoft Flow. So we're going to go into our Flow homepage. So Microsoft Flow, I'm Megan, so helps Megan set up automated workflows between her favorite apps and services to synchronize files, get notifications, collect data, and more. From the Flow homepage, she can explore a diverse set of templates to quickly get started. So this part is super, super fantastic. I'm really, really loving this, as there are already templates created. So for example, you can look at hundreds and hundreds of templates there, or you can go ahead and search here. Those are the popular templates, but there's also lots of different templates here. So when you're looking for a template, so you don't have to build it from scratch, you can actually take something that already exists and have that as your template to start from. So in this example, we're going to use an existing template to automatically create a travel-specific task in Wunderlist based on an email message received in Office 365, where we can confirm the connection to both services, and then ready to edit the template. So the first thing we're going to do is we're at our homepage here, and we see that there's different ways to get started. So we can start from a template, you can start from scratch, and there's some featured templates there as well. So we're going to go and get a template. So we need to go and find this template. So the first thing we want to do is we can type in something here. So if I type in what I want to do, so for example, I'm going to say create a to-do list, not to-do list, but to-do item in Wunderlist. And if I do search, it's going to come up with the things that have basically those components in it. So I wanted to do this, create a to-do item in Wunderlist for important emails. So I can go ahead and click on that to use that template. And once I'm there, I can go and create a new ID, and I can look at here. So in my Wunderlist, I already have a set of IDs here, and I'm going to associate this one with travel. So you can see my Wunderlist is kind of comprised of business and personal, and I'm going to go say enter in advanced mode. So when I come in here, this is now, it's already set up my basic steps. So it's saying, great, so there's going to be an email, but what's going to happen there? So I can go ahead and go ahead and here's my inbox. So when an email comes to my Office 365 Outlook, and I can basically put some parameters in here. So here I can say, what do I want to do? Is it only importance high, or could it be any type of email? So I'm going to say it's any type of email, and the subject should have travel in it. So I'm going to make it more specific because I've already created one that's called travel. So I'll say, I'm going to say Spain, just so I can put something different in there. So I have that, and you can also say, for example, does it have attachments? So you can be very specific in that. So I'm going to go ahead and create a task, and you can rename these. So if I click on here, I have the ability to rename it. So if an email comes in and has Spain in the subject filter, oh, sorry, I didn't want to do that. I want to go ahead and do something here. So I'm going to create a task. So I click on that task, and I'm going to go ahead and say, great, it's going to be travel. And I want you to create a task in my travel list. And I can go and rename that. So I can go ahead and say rename. If I could type. There we go. Create a travel to do. And then I can go ahead, and again, I've got the same thing, the ability to go and edit the default parameters, but I can go ahead and say create flow. And there's a message. It didn't like something. Oh, it's already assigned to another, so I got to change it. I got to change my name here. There we go. So go ahead and create flow, and that lets me know that it's saving the flow. And we can click on done. So that's how easy that is. So what I'm going to show you is we're going to go through, and I'm going to somewhat fake this. We're going to create a new email and send it to myself. And in the subject, now I've forgotten already. Did I say Spain travel or travel Spain? Or did I just say Spain? For my... I think I said Spain here. We'll go back here into... So if we go back into, want to find out that was, I can click on Edit Flow. And on my new email, I want to go look at that, show advanced options, and it was Spain was my subject folder. So I can go ahead and close that. Update flow. I'll go back to my flows. And there's my travel to do flow. And it hasn't run yet, but I'll go and show you another one of the flows, which is the travel one I created earlier. We'll go and look at a different flow so you can see. Here's the one I created earlier, and we can see if I go and look at that workflow, both of those steps are successful because they've got the little green check mark there. And if I go over to my Wunderlist, here is my travel to Summit Nashville. That was the one that I had done earlier today, so it's there on my to-do list. So that simple workflow using Flow, using Office 365 Flow, was able to go and add a task to my Wunderlist based on the flow that I had here. So that's just something really simple. And again, remember, you've got all of those templates here. So for example, it could be when I get an email from my boss, I want to have a notification. So again, you can have a notification go to your phone. various things here. So we've got email, templates, productivity, notifications, collect data, and social media. So again, if you're in the marketing department and you really want to be monitoring social media, you can create workflows based on that. One of my coworkers, Elliot, had a really cool workflow where he was combining Dynamics 365 sales information and the weather, and gave him a notification on his phone. So again, you can be as creative as you want, and it was pretty straightforward. You start with a template and basically tell the workflow what you want to accomplish. So we're going to go on to, that was a really simple one. Now we're going to go and look at reviewing a multi-step, multi-connection flow with conditional branching. So Microsoft Flow also allows Megan to build more complex processes that use more than 2 connections and contain conditional logic. So we're going to go and look at my flows, and we're going to go look at an internal sales associate screening flow is an example of this, allowing her to screen candidates for internal post positions and then auto-respond to those candidates, while also posting to Yammer and Wunderlist. On my flows, which we went to, I can click on the edit icon to review this flow of this logic. So this is the one we're looking at right now, is new internal resume submission. So we're going to go ahead and look at that. And we're going to go ahead and say edit flow. So right away when I'm here on this page, before we get to the edit, you can see the information here. It's showing you how many steps are in this particular workflow and the run history for that. So for example, if I want to go and look at this run history for this particular one, go ahead and look at that, and you can see that it passed all of those stages. And for this particular one, what it was, we'll walk through the workflow, screen or ignore. This one I selected screen, and it was true, and then it went on to the workflow from that side. So I'm going to go walk you through how we built this. Go ahead and look at the edit flow. So one of the first components is you have to explain to the flow, when you're building out the flow, where is it starting with? And this one I had it start with looking at my Office 365 Outlook, and it was looking at my inbox. Your advanced options on your inbox, I'm only looking for emails that have the subject filter internal resume submission. So again, you can have that. It could be looking for an email that's to a particular person or from a particular person. So maybe I've been waiting for some information to come back from Tiffany. So I want to have a workflow that when I get an email from Tiffany that had this certain subject line in it, that it's going to go ahead and create a workflow for me. So you can look at that. Got that. And my next step was, great. So when the email comes in that has that subject line in it, I want you to, again, send that email to me and change the subject to approval request. And my options are screen or ignore. In this particular example, I didn't have any particular advanced options. I just said importance would be normal. I could have had it been any. And I want you, but I do want it to insert the body of the previous email in this email. So that's what I'm asking it to do. Now I've got my conditions. So now I'm saying my condition is screen or ignore. There we go. Basic one. And here it's going to say, great, when the selected option, which is either screen or ignore, is equal to screen, if it's yes, go ahead and do this logic. So now I've got an internal submission of somebody's resume from an internal staff member, and when I look at it, I go, okay, great, I do want to look at this further. I'm going to screen it. So what happens is when it screens, it's going to send an auto response to the candidate. So it's going to be from me regarding the subject that they sent me, and I've just put in a really simple body. I didn't bother typing it all up, but I'm basically saying thank you for applying. So if Tiffany was applying for an internal position and I quickly looked at her resume and I went, yeah, I need to screen this, I would select in the email, and I'll show you that in a minute, in the inbox, I selected go ahead and screen, and then it kicked off that workflow. So it would have sent Tiffany back an email saying, thank you for applying, and what's going to happen there. So the next step I wanted to happen was to get the user profile information. So it's going to be using Office 365 and get me some information about Tiffany. So getting her user profile, and it's also going to go up, and I've asked it to post a message in Yammer. So if we go and look at, I've said, great, I want to post a message when this happens that I've found a successful candidate that I want to screen. I want you to post a message in our sales group that we just had a quality internal resume from, display name, Tiffany, and I'm instructing Isaac to please make an appointment. So again, I've got lots of information there to say, great, what's going to happen after I say, great, I need to screen this candidate further. I've now gone and communicated on Yammer that needs to happen. And I've also said, can you create a high priority task on my Wonder list to follow up with Tiffany. So again, I've had all of these items happen here. Now, that's if I do want to screen that person's resume that's come in the inbox. What if I don't want to? So let's say, for example, an internal resume was submitted to me via email, and I thought this was really, really interesting. When it's no, obviously I want to send an email back to Tiffany to say, you know, it's not a right fit right now, or the position's been filled already, or whatever it's my automated response is going to be. Well, I'm actually able to create a delay because I don't want to upset Tiffany and that she sent the email in, and within seconds she gets an automated response saying not a good fit. So it basically will wait 30 minutes before responding via email. I thought that was very cool. I really like that. So my email is going to come from me. It's going to be regarding her submission for that open position. And then I said, thank you for your resume, not a fit at this time. So that would go automatically back out to Tiffany based on my workflow and what I chose. So lots of great flexibility and options in there. So let's just pop over to the email that came in. So an email came in, and it wasn't from Tiffany, it was from Alex, but anyways, we're pretending it was Tiffany. And then right away, it's got that screen or ignore those options there. So again, I don't have to watch all of these emails that are coming in with submissions for sales associate. I'm only interested in the ones that are addressed to me because it's going to kick off my workflow. So I thought that was very, very useful, and keeping the business organized and things on track and keeping people on task. So we'll go back and close that after we looked at it. And then you can see that, I'll go out of here at done, and I'll go back to that, you can see that run history. So it's running all the time, looking for transactions or emails or triggers that are then going to set the next action in place. So again, very straightforward. I used a template and built out the logic based on that information. So flow, definitely something I think everyone can benefit from. It adds value immediately. I can't wait to play around with it for my own Office 365 and set up some workflows based on things that I need to be able to give priority to and also share out. So let's go, and we'll just quickly go back over to Yammer. And if I go to sales, and here is my automatic posting on Yammer. So we just had a quality internal resume from Alex Wilbur. So do you remember in that workflow step, I had put exactly that, and so there it is. Isaac, please make an appointment. So again, in that group on Yammer, this is our private social networking application internally or for private groups. And I've got a group called Sales that their people belong to, and I've given an instruction on basically what's happened there for that potential new candidate. And I shared it out. And if I go over to travel and I go to high priority tasks, and there it is, candidate follow-up for Alex Wilbur. So all interconnected, collaborative, and I'm able to work on that with my teammates. Great, so I think I covered all the components of that for doing that workflow. I think we'll go on to the next section, which is going to be Planner. This is so exciting. I had so much fun building out that workflow and testing that out. And of course, when I first was building, I was like, oh, why isn't this working? And a little tip to you, what I forgot to do is, and why it wasn't working, it was stopping kind of on my, my step here. And I had, what had I done here? I think I had forgot to put a specific word in here. I think that's what it was. Or I didn't have my, I think I had this to high, and my importance was, it should have been any or normal. And I had a custom, something custom in there, and it wasn't working. So again, pretty straightforward, because when you go in to look at the, close out of here. When you go and look at the run information, you can quickly find out where, so here we can go and look, you'll see where my error was. When we go and look at this, it's telling you exactly, it finished the first step, but it stopped at the second step. So I had something wrong in there, and then I corrected it. So there are no inputs or outputs for this operation, so it wasn't getting there. And so really straightforward, it was easy to find, and I'm certainly no expert in Flow. All right, well, let's go on to Planner. And I'm going to go over to my Planner Hub page. Now, again, you can flip back and forth. You don't have to have multiple tabs open. I've just got multiple tabs open just to make it easier for me to go back and forth. Oh, sure, right in the middle of my demo. Oh, goodness. It didn't like that I was on there for so long. Great, so there we are, back in Planner. There, now I'm back in Planner at my Planner Hub, and so you can see here I'm on Planner Hub at the moment. So Microsoft Planner offers people a simple and visual way to manage teamwork. Planner is highly versatile, making it easy for you and your team to create new plans, organize and assign tasks, share files, chat about what you're working on, and get updates on progress. It's intuitive and very easy to use. Planner enables anyone to manage a marketing event, brainstorm new product ideas, track a school assignment, prepare for a customer visit, or just organize your team more effectively. So the persona that I am today is Megan Bowen. She's the marketing manager for Contoso, a large multinational corporation with many activities in play. She needs to manage numerous tasks, documents, notes, and other assets throughout the day. Microsoft Planner is the perfect solution, providing Megan and her team with a flexible, visually rich, and interactive view of their work. So Planner Hub, that's where I am right now. Planner Hub, the Planner Hub view provides a visual all-up view of the plans that Megan is working on. Tasks not started are yellow, in progress tasks are blue, late tasks are red, and complete tasks are green. Megan can see the progress of her plans at a glance. Megan can move plan from all plans section to the favorite plans very easily. So let's go ahead and do that. So I've got my favorite plans up here, and I want to go and move a plan over to there. So it doesn't really matter which plan you do, but I'm just going to go and grab this product launch event up top. Add to favorites, there we go. And there it is, now it moved to up to my favorite section. Very easy to move those around. Because again, I might have many plans on the go, but which ones am I working on that are most important? We also have in the left-hand navigation, you can see your own tasks and create a new plan. So again, if I click on my tasks, it will list out my tasks, and I can also create a new plan. So again, easy access to creating new plans and looking at your own tasks. So we're going to go ahead and look at our marketing planner board. So the main value of the planner is that it helps teams organize their work intuitively and visually. Let's walk through a typical plan with Megan. Megan is in charge of the online marketing campaign for a new Contoso product line. Marketing campaigns can have many moving parts, including numerous tasks, deadlines, assets, and deliverables. Planner helps keep everything organized and up to date. So of course, as I'm going through this, I'm thinking to myself, okay, these people that are in finance, they're going to say, Tracy, why are you talking about marketing? But for all of our customers who are using our Dynamics applications like Dynamics GP, Dynamics NAV, Dynamics AX, Dynamics 365, Dynamics 365 Financials, Dynamics 365 Sales, although I'm talking about marketing, it can be anything. And our ERP applications are seamlessly integrated with Office 365. So again, I'm looking at marketing, but it could have been a board on how are we going to absorb the new ways of CRA has changed how we deal with capital leases or not leases and our fixed assets and how we handle that for 2019. You could create a board on all the tasks that need to accomplish that. So again, although I'm talking about marketing, it doesn't have to be marketing, it could be any topic that you like. All right, so let's go look at this. And right now I have it grouped by buckets. So I've created these buckets. So there's a to-do bucket, launch event bucket, managing and branding, and you can go ahead and add a new bucket. So each plan has its own board, and we have a detailed view of the tasks and team members. So again, I can see everyone who's responsible for the different tasks in that particular bucket. So we're going to go ahead and look at which, we're going to go over here, and we're going to look at members. So when I look at members, I see who is a part of the marketing planner, and I have a team member that isn't on this board and needs to be. So I'm going to go ahead and add that person. And you can see when you hover over, you can also remove them. So maybe they're not going to be involved in that planning that project. So again, you can add and remove them. So we've got here in the to-do bucket here, we've got something called media outlet card. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And in here it tells me it's in the bucket to do. It hasn't been started. Here was the start date. Here was the due date. And if I wanted to, I can add an attachment in here. So again, maybe I want to put in a video or a PowerPoint regarding this particular task that has to be done. So the first thing I noticed that it looks like that task, well, it was supposed to be started on August 29th, but not really much has been done here. So I can say, you know, maybe I'm going to put a comment in here, in which I did already. Do you need help with this, with finding media outlets? And I can go ahead and send that. And right now this task is marked urgent. So again, you've got these different labeling that you can go and put your own definition in of the different colors and what they mean. So I can go ahead and do that. And I've put my comment in that. And you can see here, for example, in here, with this particular component here, they did had an attachment and showed on the card. So again, I've got that preview. I didn't have to go and open that. I can see that preview right there. And we can go and create more buckets. I'm not going to go and create more buckets right now because we're already at 1:44 or 3:44, depending on which time zone you're in, but I've only got 15 minutes left and I've only actually covered 2 of the components. So planner, another part of it here, looking at the boards, which is very visual and I can see the different people involved in it, we can go over to charts. Charts will show me where we are at in the project. So much like when we worked with Microsoft project and be able to visually see what's going on. So again, I can see the tasks that are in progress, the ones that aren't started, the ones that are completed. And maybe I think, wow, Alex, you've got a lot of work here, so maybe I should assign something to someone else. So the things that maybe the Twitter content, maybe I can assign that to someone else. I can assign, we'll give that to, let's see, who doesn't have a lot? Joni, she doesn't seem to have a lot of work, project or tasks to do on this particular one. And we'll go ahead and we'll take off Wilbur. Take him off of that assigned. So now you can see you can balance that workload from there. And again, when it's finished, we obviously get to see that that task is completed. So easy to have a look at that. Great. All right. Another area here we can do is have conversations. So we can have a conversation about this. And it basically is going to go and launch my Outlook, and I have a group. So you can see here I've got groups, and there's marketing. And I can go ahead and have a new conversation. To marketing, maybe a new hire would speed things along. Please review all new applicants. And I can go ahead and send that. Go back to my planner board. And have that ability to, again, go and collaborate on that. There's also calendars as well. I'm not going to go into all the so we know what's happening there for that. Calendar, group calendar is awesome. Great. So I think we'll pop over to one of our other applications. Although there was lots and lots of great content in the planner, and I didn't really touch on all those topics. I'll have to do maybe a session just on planner. Let's go ahead and start with looking at the Sway. We'll go to Sway next, and we'll look at that. So I'm going to go over here and back to my home page that shows me all my different applications. And I'm going to go ahead and look at Sway. Ah, there's my clicker training. There's my clicker training one that I created. So again, very simple in the way that we had talked about it before, in the sense of, do I want to, just what we talked about, the workflow or flow. We've got templates. We've got different ways of accessing information, gathering information. So I'll just quickly show you this one. I went and created, said, great, I've got a topic, and what do I want the topic to be? And it was clicker training. I was able to take content, so for example, when we're working on the storyline, and you basically can put information here. So for example, if I wanted to change this a little bit and I wanted this information to be a heading, so by clicking on there, make it a heading, now I've now got another page, so, or another piece of canvas that I created. Can you get your puppy to stay on his mat? So again, very simple and easy to work with, and it went and gathered information based on my topic that I did clicker training. It went out. So this is information I just grabbed from my OneNote that I copy and pasted into here. And there's a picture, and then we've got history. So this is what it gathered on its own. So it went and said, okay, why don't you have a card on history? And it gives you prompts. Consider writing about animal training operant conditioning and these people who are contributed to operant training. And then it said, well, your next topic or card could be method. And then it prompted, so I didn't create any of this. It just went out there, searched the internet, and said, great, here's some topics that we think would be important when you're doing a new presentation on that. So again, it was auto-created for me. So we're going to go back to Sway itself, and we're going to get started. So again, maybe I'm going to do a business presentation. Maybe I do want to start from a template. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll do business presentation. So again, automatically it goes and builds that out based on the information that I said I wanted to be a business presentation, and it went and grabbed some cardstock and broke it into my different areas to fill out those cards. Now, in this case, I did pick a predetermined layout, but we can start on our own topic. So again, I won't go and pick a template. Start from a topic. So there was created new from a template. I'm going to start from a topic, and we're going to put in here electric cars and go ahead, create an outline for me. So now it's gone. Oh, we made a mistake. Please try again later. Okay, we'll try that again. If it doesn't work, we'll carry on. Okay, so we'll cancel. So creating new, again, you have the ability to start from a template, start from a topic. We'll go and search the internet, and the application has logarithms in it that will go and create an outline for you. Or you could start from a document. So perhaps you've already got a PowerPoint presentation or a PDF or a Word document that you want to build out a presentation from. So we'll go ahead and look at one of the presentations that was already created, just so you can get an idea of how it was worked on collaborative. So again, I don't have a touch screen, but you actually can swipe to go to the next pages. Go to the next page. So again, if you have a touch screen, you can just swipe by and go. And so this one has an embedded Power BI information, very visually appealing, and again, it is like a micro website, so very different than our traditional PowerPoint presentations. And I could have embedded a video in here as well. I can turn on autoplay for this way. Great. There. Now it's going to autoplay. So I wasn't able to show how it searched out on the internet. I wanted to show you that because that was really cool. And I had a presentation for electronic car, or electric car. So again, you've got that ability to have that in there as well. So we'll pop off of here. Oh, thank you, Tiffany, for pointing out the time. Let's jump back over to Yammer, and in here we can see the different groups that we're in. So for example, I was in the sales group, and I was able to comment on that automated flow information came here. We've got different groups, so if we go into that marketing campaigns group, we have the ability to collaborate and work together. So when Miriam did a post, Alex was able to continue on the conversation. We were able to communicate back and forth and work on that. You can also create polls, give people praise, and create announcements. So again, flexibility in there to be able to share out information in an appropriate manner depending on the audience and who you want to be able to see that. So and again, it's also got ability to do private messages, creating groups, discover more groups. So for example, although you might be using it internally for your own networking internally for your corporation, there might be another Yammer group that you want to be a part of. So for example, I'm part of the Microsoft Education Yammer group, so I'm included in there, so I get to see the posts that they're doing. So again, we can share lots and lots of information. And it's not just commenting things back and forth. You can have documents and files, SharePoint. You've got the SharePoint libraries that you can attach here. So it's all basically one large, even though we're in separate applications in Office 365, they're all interconnected. So it is like one overall application. So I guess I better jump back over here from my current slide to show this, because I have run out of time. I really apologize. So I'll go on to the next section. If there are questions, please feel free to type them in, and we'll be able to look at those questions. And not sure if there are any questions, if most of you can see if there's any questions. Yeah, laser discs, yes, thank you. I think that's what it was called. Do you remember those big things that were bigger than plates? Oh my gosh. How times have changed. But any questions, if we don't have time to answer them today, you can email us and we'd be happy to talk to you about that. And I did want to check back and remind you that we have a whole team that's just dedicated to Office 365 and making sure you get the most out of it and monitoring that.
We have a couple of questions, Tracy. I can read them out.
Okay.
So from Stuart, it says, to confirm we should have the most up-to-date version of Excel application with Office 365?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, and then
there's constantly new features and functionality being added, and how, for example, Excel works with the other applications as well, specifically ERP.
Okay, another one from Chris. How does Planner relate to MS Project?
That's a great question. I'd have to take that away. I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, I can tell you who sent that, and you can get back to them.
Absolutely, for sure.
Okay. Another one, our workstations have varying versions of Excel. Should we advise Encore to ensure applications are all updated and standardized?
Yeah, so what happens is it's actually, it would be a licensing change. So for example, I don't know if I had that in my notes to read out, but traditionally before you would buy a version of Excel, and then you might have software assurance, or you might repurchase that. And so that, whatever the latest version of that kind of licensing model that comes out, and I believe it is 2016, they won't continue on with that licensing model. It'll just be the Office 365. So once you have that, let's say, for example, you had Office 365 and you had Excel, you could also install that on your workstation so that you'd always have the newest version of Excel there as well.
Okay. Next one, can Flow be integrated with Dynamics?
With Dynamics 365 Sales, it is. I will have to check on, and I'm guessing now that question specifically Dynamics GP, but if we can note that as a takeaway, and I'll find out.
Okay. For Flow, if there is a partial description of the filtered full description, will the email be captured in the flow?
Yes, yes. It's intelligent enough for that.
Okay, and another Flow. When using Flow, how do you know that your incoming emails have subject wording that conforms to your Flow rules?
Well, you're creating the Flow rules. So let's say, for example, the subject you think would have, in my case, would have travel in it. Well, as long as travel's somewhere in there. And you don't have to have it filtered on subject, right? So for example, if I just wanted to create a workflow that monitored every email that came in from Melissa to do set up workflow, you could. Or for example, for me, something important is, say, price list. So every time something that's an email with a subject line price list or invoice or order or quote, I want to know about that. So You're determining the keywords. But that's
Okay.
a very good question. Oh, that's a good question.
The last one is, nice dog, Tracy.
Thank you. He's actually here at the office today with me. Very well behaved. All right, so here's some additional information. So, more information about Office 365 for sure. Also about Summit, for those of you that are going to Summit, it's just around the corner coming up. And then we'll be having for the audience that's Dynamics GP, we'll be having an upcoming webinar on Dynamics GP. If there is anything that I've touched on right now, or you have any questions about Office 365, or you'd like to see more of it, I'm totally happy to take anyone through a more detailed demo, but also talking about it's really, I know for a lot of you this is a big shift, and it's something that we need to be talking to you about. So even if you're in the finance department or the sales department or marketing or operations, these are conversations we should be having with the IT group, because this is going to make their lives easier, as well as provide a lot of value to you in leveraging that. And I'm sure everyone saw something there that they could definitely take advantage of. So I hope you really enjoyed this today. And Melissa, as always, I'm so honored that you asked me to do this presentation, because I really learned a lot in prepping for it and really understand Office 365 a whole lot better.
Thank you, Tracy.
Everyone have a great afternoon.